What is the importance of business communication? We're going to answer that question in this video. Okay, let's rock. Let's talk about how important it is to communicate effectively in business. Oh my gosh, this ranks so super high because whether it's in business or personal, communication is everything. Holy cow, right? You know that. I'm sure you know that. So let's start talking about it in business. You're dealing with customers, right? Let's just dive into situations where you've got a customer that has been contacting you to spend money, right? They want to order something. They want your product or service. Let's say you're a roofer. Let's say you're selling, like I said, products, whatever. And you don't get back to them quickly. What do you think they're going to do if you don't get back to them in 3 or 5 days? They're probably going to go down the list of wherever they found you and they're going to find somebody else. I know me personally, when I'm looking for something, I want something done. I want it done now. I don't want to wait for that business to get back to me in like 2 days. That's their loss, right? If they can't serve me quick enough, that's just too bad. And so I find it super important in business to make sure that you're answering your emails, your phones, and everything. And we're going to talk about emails right now. Answer your emails daily, preferably multiple times a day. I instruct my people, we're doing this throughout the day, morning, afternoon, and night. You want to be answering and being on top of things for multiple reasons. One, like I said, is for your business, for your sales. That's your income. So if a customer's calling, sometimes all they want to do is just speak to a human on the other line, confirm one thing, confirm 3 things, and they're ready to hand you their credit card. And all they want to do is hear from you, right? And here you are, brick wall of them, not answering the phone or making an excuse, not replying quickly to an email, whatever it is. That's not good. And remember, when you communicate back, it's important you do it with good grammar, right? Good sense. You gotta understand that through email, when we're talking about email, through business communication, with business communication, that tone is very difficult to understand. And a lot of people take things very personal if by chance you're not communicating in a fashion that is, super like buttering up your email. And so what I'm basically trying to say is this. If you're going to tell a customer basically no, you have to be very delicate about how you tell them no, right? You want to say things like I'm sorry or I apologize or with sincere apologies, things like that. And if you're saying something that's very direct, maybe you say it in a very please and thank you fashion and put a smiley face at the end of the email, right? Because you don't want your tone to be misunderstood. You don't want that customer to leave and say, gosh, they were really mean. They were really rude. And maybe you had no intentions on being rude. But the way they interpreted it, which is all that matters, right? Not what you thought you did. It's what they thought. They're your customer. They're the ones spending the money. How they interpreted it is what matters. And in the end, it only hurts you if you don't do it right. So it's important in email communication to, like I said, use proper punctuation, proper grammar, smiley faces, a lot of please, thank yous, a lot of sincere apologies, sorries, whatever it is, if you're having to come across that way. And if you're going to talk positively, be excited. Hello, their name with an exclamation mark, right? Great to hear from you. Make them, when they read that email, feel like uppity, like, oh my gosh, I feel great, right? So let's talk about problems that your business might have, right? Customer service issues where you haven't provided the product or the service the way the customer wanted it. So if you shipped them something, maybe it got damaged, maybe you shipped them the incorrect item. If it's a service like you're mowing lawns or something like that, the customer's emailing you because you didn't pull the weeds, right? All the weeds are still in the grass or along the sidewalk. You didn't do the edging or whatever you do, the trimming. Whatever it is, I want you to understand something. You have got to respond to that issue immediately. Do not put it off. The problem is not going away. It's not one of those things where you're like, I'll just get to that issue tomorrow. Problems snowball and get worse over time. So in the mind of a customer, if they send you, let's say they sent you an email like in the morning, okay? And now it's gotten to be afternoon. Some people expect a response when there's an issue the same day. I know I do, depending on the level of the circumstance. If it's a pretty big issue or a moderate issue, I expect a response. And if that company isn't staffed enough to at least respond to that issue, is one thing. Now, if somebody's in sales and they're trying to get my money for advertising and things like that, we might respond and say, hey, we've received your email. Maybe we don't respond. If we think it's spam, we don't have to respond. It's spam, right? Delete, goodbye. You're just another person trying to just take our money and not offer us anything solid, right? But if it's something that's, we feel like maybe we're going to do business with them, we might say, okay, we've received your email and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. It could take a few days, could take a week or whatever. We kind of give them a timeline. And then a lot of times, if we give them that timeline in 3 days, guess what they do? They follow up, right? Good communication on their end. It's like they put it in their calendar and they're like, okay, if this business doesn't contact me, I'm going to respond to them, right? And understand that sometimes it's one customer that can make or break your business. It truly is, especially during tough times. I know that personally, my businesses have saved other businesses during their tough times. They've told me. I remember a sign company when we were going through We Buy Gold they did all our signage. And I remember the owner telling me, you know, Bayman, if it wasn't for you, I probably would have closed my business down and probably wouldn't be doing signs anymore, right? Business got that bad during that, 2009, 2010. It was like still the recession, and we were opening up all these We Buy Gold stores, so we needed signage nonstop. We basically kept these people in business. We kept them alive. So imagine if that one person didn't communicate effectively and well with me, right? That could have cost that person their entire business. Imagine if that person was rude to me. They would have lost me, right? And I was their golden ticket to survive, and they're still in business. In fact, they moved, they expanded, they're doing well. So understand that it only takes one customer to make or break a business. So treat each one of them with the utmost respect and everything like that. Now, as you always know, it's impossible to please everybody. But we aim for perfection, right? We really aim for perfection. We want everything to be perfect if we can. So that way, if we screw up, we're 99.9 or 99.8 or whatever the percentage is. It's like one customer out of 5,000 or one out of 10,000. They got an issue. We've done everything. We bent over backwards, gave them a partial refund, reimbursed their shipping, or if we were providing a service, we comped it and gave them, there's sometimes no matter what you do, you can't please everybody. And then there's also sometimes you get sabotaged by your competition. You think you're trying to make it right and they're a legit customer and they have a legitimate complaint, but it's really like one of your competitors just sabotaging you. And that does happen. It's extremely rare, but if you're big enough in your industry and you're making an impact and one of your competitors is feeling your pain because you're doing so well and you're taking some of their business, they might do stuff like that. They do, and they try to hurt you. So just understand that you can aim for perfection, but once you get to a certain point, a certain threshold of a lot of customers, it's very possible that you could easily, have a couple customers that you're not gonna be able to please. So that's normal. But let's go back to, so you get emailed with a situation or you get called, right? And you're not returning the call. Sometimes a customer will call and say, I want to speak to the owner. I want to speak to the manager. This is what happened. We came into your establishment. This is yada, yada, yada. Think of the game Candy Crush, okay? So if you've ever played Candy Crush, I love using this as an example because I remember for so many years when I was on Facebook, I would see people playing it and trying to share it, and I just refused to play the game. And then, I don't know, maybe my wife or somebody got me into the game and I started playing it. And it was like the perfect game to play when you're sitting waiting for a flight, right? And you're just trying to kind of unplug from the world and play a video game. It was a very addictive and fun game. I really enjoyed it. But I remember on these certain levels, they would have these little bomb things that would start with a ticker. And they would start with say a 10. And every move that you'd make, it would go down a number. And when it got to 0, you would lose, right? The screen would be over and it basically blew up and the screen would be over. So if you played Candy Crush, you know what I'm talking about with these bombs. And I like to think of customer service when there's a bad scenario going on or a customer's dissatisfied, kind of in that form of the Candy Crush game. And I know you're like, that's a silly example, but hear me out. There's actually real truth to this. So think of every tick. So every move as maybe an hour or 3 hours or a day. And every hour that goes by, the customer is getting angrier and angrier, right? And more frustrated and whatever. And when it gets to the point where you go from 10 to 0 and your game's over, you basically have no chance to ever recoup that customer back into your life. You've upset them so much, they've gotten over the situation. Some of them are like, you know what? I don't want you to do anything. We're just never coming back to your business. And you're like, whoa, wait. I really wanted to help you. And they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. We're just not going to come back. You had your chance. We let you know you waited 2 days or you waited a full day. We told you this was important to us and, whatever. So I want you to think as customers almost like ticking time bombs, right? They've got the ability as time goes, if you're not taking care of them, they've got the ability in their own mind to create whatever they want. And some of them are super patient, which is great. I love the patient customers. Some of them are highly impatient. They're both customers, they're both willing to spend money with you, right? But either way, if you're not communicating effectively with those customers, oh my goodness, it could cost you obviously a lot of business, a lot of revenue. And like the example that I gave you with the sign company that helped me out with my We Buy Gold stores when we were setting those stores up, it could cost you your entire business. So to summarize, what's the importance of business communication? It's almost everything. Holy cow. Make sure you communicate effectively, not only with your customers, with your staff, with people that you're, advertising with, whatever, anybody that you're connected to in business, make sure you're a good communicator. It's super important to the long-term success of your business. Okay, everybody, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like it, share it, and subscribe. I would really appreciate any comments below if there's anything else I can help you with on this topic. If you got any other suggestions on future videos, I'd love to hear from you. And remember, in life and in business, it's never easy for anybody, and that's okay. And if the going gets tough, remember this from me. Never give up, push hard, keep pushing, and be the hustler.